Hey everyone, Sanjay from TechRespect here with a comparison between the 3DS XL and the PS Vita. I've done a video comparing the 3DS with the Vita, and now I'm just taking a look at the 3DS XL versus the PS Vita. So let's get down to it. Alright, so the 3DS has been in the market for quite a bit of time now, but the 3DS XL is the newest handheld, with the Vita coming 4 months before the 3DS XL. The main difference between the two 3DSs is the screen size and the battery life. So how does it compare to the Vita? Before we get to that, let's take a quick look around these devices as usual. We have the Vita here with a 5-inch OLED touchscreen display at a QHD resolution, which is of course 960 by 544. Two small analog sticks on either side here, with stereo speakers right next to each. A VGA front-facing camera on the right side, and a slew of buttons, normal buttons that you would expect on a PlayStation controller, or any other controller for that matter. On the top we have the power button, game card slot, an unknown accessory port, volume up and volume down, and the left and right trigger buttons. Unfortunately, all the ports are covered by these very annoying and tedious doors. But moving on, at the bottom we have Sony's proprietary charging and data transfer port, a 3.5mm headset jack, and a memory card port. And finally at the back we have another VGA camera, capacitive rear touch panel, and a microphone hole. The 3DS XL has Nintendo's well-known clamshell design, so let's start at the top of the device. Here we see the notification light, dual VGA cameras for 3D picture taking, and a camera indicator light. On the right side we see the wireless toggle switch, part of the 3D slider, the stylus, and the SD card slot. The left side only houses the volume slider, so that's about it. On the front we only have the 3.5mm headset jack and the power and charging LED lights. The back side has the left and right triggers, the charging port, the game cartridge slot, and an almost invisible IR blaster. Once we open up the device, we see its large 4.88-inch top screen and a 4.18-inch lower screen. The resolutions are unchanged from the earlier 3DS, standing at 800 by 240 for the top and 320 by 240 for the bottom. The main difference between the Vita screen and the 3DS's screen is, of course, that the 3DS's screen has a parallax barrier, which allows for a 3D effect. But this does mean that the actual perceived resolution of the top screen is 400 by 240. Moving on, we find another VGA camera acting as the front-facing camera on the top part. The lower part has the only circle pad, which is an analog nub rather than a stick. We also have a bunch of usual gameplay buttons, just like the PS Vitas. Now I'm not going to talk about the internal hardware. If you want to see that, you should go to my earlier video, because it is pretty much unchanged. And of course the Vita completely outclasses the 3DS XL here. So let's talk about the user experience of each, which is much more important than specs. The Vita is a very good looking device in a beautiful black finish, but there's a problem with that. The enormous amounts of fingerprints, which are very difficult to clean because of those two analog sticks that stick out. So now you know why I have this skin on. The analog sticks seem weak at first, but having used them for almost 9 months now, I've not had a single issue with them, so I can vouch for its durability. Unfortunately, I found that the Vita can be a little cramping if you have big hands. This is because of the rear touch panel. Some games need you to use this from time to time, and it's just not comfortable to hold the Vita without letting your fingers go into that touch panel. The way I get around this is to get this PS Vita grip that you see here. Definitely something you should look into picking up if you do get a Vita. The Vita's buttons give you great tactile response, except for the the start and select buttons, which are tiny and are flush with the surface. The trigger buttons are amazing, and your entire index finger can just rest on each button. But they do creak a little when you press them. The 3DS XL is a good looking device as well, much better looking than the first 3DS in my opinion, and it has a newer, less glossy finish. The first 3DS, like the Vita, was a huge fingerprint magnet, but the XL has a more metallic feeling case with a two-tone paint job, which repels fingerprints excellently. The 3DS XL's larger body seems to be a very good size for comfortable gaming, meaning you are able to spread your fingers at the back without any problems. The buttons on the 3DS XL feel softer than the Vita's, but still provide a good response when pressed. The Start, Select, and Home button bar has been hugely improved over the old 3DS and now sports individual buttons for each. The 3DS XL hinge is very sturdy and locks into three places for gaming or viewing comfort. This is a huge improvement over the older 3DS, which had an intentionally wobbly hinge. Anyway, this hinge should definitely last for the lifetime of the console. So the 3DS XL weighs 339 grams to the Vita's 260 grams. Though the 3DS XL is quite a bit heavier, neither are difficult or tiring to hold, meaning you will be comfortable when you're using them. No doubt about it, there is a night and day difference between the main displays of each device. The Vita's OLED makes for crisp and colorful visuals, while the 3DS XL screen goes for a slick 3D effect that is much more prominent than the old 3DS, and makes for much less discomfort when viewing. However, the resolution is a little low, but once you get playing, you get used to it because most games have been made to well suit the screen. Regardless, I'm going to have to give this one to the Vita for its beautiful color reproduction and crisp images. So moving on to operating systems. Both operating systems are fairly simple to use. They pretty much have your games and apps in the open either in pages or a scrollable list. The Vita has more customization with the ability to add wallpapers for every page, and to arrange your game pins in any way you want. The 3DS operating system has the games in a list, and you can only customize how many icons you can see at a given time and rearrange them. The 3DS OS can be a bit more convenient though, mainly because you can change your brightness very quickly if, say, the sun happens to fall on your screen while you're gaming. On the Vita, you would have to open up a separate settings app, wait for it to load, and then adjust the brightness. Multitasking is not either console's strong suit. On the 3DS, you can browse the internet, access your notifications and friend list, and take down some notes. The Vita lets you access settings, your trophies, your friend list, the PS Store, and a couple of other things. The Vita clearly does more useful multitasking, but it cannot access the browser, which really surprises me. Both consoles have a social aspect to them where you can get in-game items from passerbys close to your system and do a couple of other things as well. Street Pass for the 3DS is a fun application which transports the avatars, known as Miis, of people who pass by your 3DS. Here you can play a minigame where you take your collected Miis on an adventure or collect picture pieces from others to make fun little animated 3D panels. A good amount of full games also make use of this feature to trade data where you can do something like race a ghost of a passerby or go for a challenge. Nier for the Vita tries to do a similar thing but seems to have been badly implemented and is cluttered and kinda confusing to use. It eventually started turning into a nuisance, so I turned it off completely. Nonetheless, it's a good way to keep track of what people around you are playing. Though the hardware of the Vita was way above the 3DS when I first did my comparison in February, the games were more or less on par. This really has changed 9 months later. The 3DS hasn't made any advances in the gaming realm, sticking to familiar titles like Mario, Paper Mario, while the Vita has already begun its push to more intense games like Assassin's Creed Liberation, Need for Speed Most Wanted, Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified, and even FIFA 13, which is also available on the 3DS, but nowhere near the quality of the Vitas. But honestly, Sony didn't have a choice but to push for these games because of their dwindling Vita sales. Therein lies the question: why was the Vita struggling? The answer is accessibility. The 3DS and 3DS XL are cheaper than the Vita. They come in a variety of different colors and editions, and the games are pick up and play. Believe it or not, these actually play a role in on how appealing one is over the other. The Vita is priced higher, and you need a proprietary Sony memory stick to play any game, which can cost up to an additional $100 for 32 gigabytes. It also only came in black here in North America until recently, when the Assassin's Creed Liberation Vita bundle was released. And a lot of the games are very time consuming just to get into the gameplay. This really wouldn't be a problem if you play the Vita at home most of the time, but if you use your Vita on a commute that's around 20 minutes, you might grow weary of having to just stop your game mid-level, or maybe not even getting to any good gameplay when you're commuting. That aside, these full-fledged games are a treat to play, and having a full console-sized game in your pocket can be something to brag about, and is quite helpful during long trips. Now keep in mind that I'm not saying that the 3DS can't handle full-fledged games. We have already seen that it can with Resident Evil Revelations. However, I doubt Nintendo will push the console that much for a while so that it can last longer in the market before having to have a substantial hardware upgrade. Alright, so let's get to core gaming between the 3DS XL and the PS Vita. The XL only has one analog nub, while the Vita has two analog sticks. Granted, those analog sticks are very sensitive. Having two just makes for a more traditional feel when playing games like third and first person shooters, while the XL has to resort to using a stylus and the touchscreen, like in Kid Icarus Uprising. However, like I said earlier, most 3DS games have been well developed to suit the system, and so you won't find yourself missing that second stick a lot of the time. The 3DS does have an accessory which adds two more trigger buttons and a second circle pad for games like Resident Evil Revelations that support it. But we have not seen the Circle Pad Pro for the XL here in North America, but it is expected here soon. So the quantity of games that can be played on the 3DS should definitely be noted. The 3DS is backwards compatible with all DS games and has a very healthy amount of games itself. The Vita cannot play any UMDs which worked on the PSP, and a lot of amazing games like Crisis Core did not make the transfer to the PlayStation Store. So compared to the 3DS, the Vita does have fewer playable titles. But the titles which are available are on the PS Store, so you don't actually have to go looking for an old game you want to play. The Vita has a feature that works with the PS3 called crossplay. Though it hasn't been implemented into a lot of games, it gives you the ability to save your game on the PS3, transfer your data to the Vita, and continue playing on the go. I have best experienced this while playing old PS1 classics like Resident Evil or Final Fantasy VII. Crossplay also sometimes allows you to play cooperatively without having to deal with the split screen. We see this in games like PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, Wipeout, and MLB The Show. Keep in mind that the game itself must also support this, and it's not that widespread. Okay, so let's take a look at some full gameplay of games that are available on the Vita and 3DS. Remember that it's pretty tough to play through a camera, and that is definitely why I suck here. So to sum up, we have the Vita and the 3DS XL. Both have large screens and are great devices. With the Vita you get graphics, power, and console-sized intense games. With the 3DS XL you get a lot of pick up and play, quick to load games, a pretty cool 3D effect, and a plethora of accessible games to keep you going. So which is better? That honestly depends on the individual. If you feel you can put up with longer than normal load times, and if you enjoy being able to take that home gaming environment with you in your pocket, go for the Vita. If you like calmer but more challenging gameplay experiences with more friendly graphics, I would recommend going for the 3DS XL. I love both these devices very much, and it's tough to pick one over the other, but I would have to give the edge to the Vita again, despite the improvements Nintendo made to the 3DS XL over the original 3DS. Mainly because it feels like Nintendo eased out on the push they were making to capture people from outside their normal audience. We haven't seen a visually striking game on the 3DS like Resident Evil Revelations since Resident Evil Revelations. Although Nintendo has really been busy with the launch of the Wii U lately. So that's really it from me here at Tech for Spec. It's been a long video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe to Tech for Spec for more tech videos if you want to, and I will talk to you guys later.